Pick Up the Six is sponsored by Mudgear. Mudgear serves the unleashed with gear for the modern hybrid athlete that's made tougher. They've created strong, functional performance gear like their performance shirts, shorts, and socks. I wear Mudgear on the regular. Whether it's for a road race, an obstacle adventure, or a ruck, Mudgear can help you gear up for extreme performance. Go to mudgear.com, use the code PUT6, and save 15% off today.
Welcome to F3, Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith, where men come together for something more than just a workout. Our core principles define us: free of charge, open to all men, held outdoors, peer-led, and end in a circle of trust. Whether you want to run, lift heavy things, or focus on bodyweight exercises, F3 has over 4,000 workouts available worldwide. Join us, experience the camaraderie, the challenge, and the transformation of F3, where men can get right so that they can lead right.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Brian Jodice back with another episode of Pick Up the Six, and grateful that you are carving out some time to be a part of this amazing conversation we're going to have with my new fast friend, Greg Archbold. I'm so excited to get to meet Greg, for you guys get to meet him. Shout out to our buddy Mike Sullivan from Team RWB, because they got us connected. These guys work together. They've got some similar connections, and we are going to meet a powerhouse of positivity here, guys, in a few moments. And when we talk about service, purpose, and impact, Greg checks all those boxes. And he's got an incredible military career in and around the security space. And then also he's continued to do some great things today. And he's got these Archboldisms of just positivity. So we're going to meet Greg here in a few moments. We got some great sponsors I want to tell you about, but I do need to share with you guys an update and some news about something that's going on in my life, in our Pick Up the Six life, and just with a lot of other friends. You've heard me talk a lot, and I've shown it to you, and we've been on it, and we've just been fully immersed in this idea of a TV network aimed at serving men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s called NGBN TV, a noble cause, a worthy effort, and quite frankly, a lot of sweat, time, treasure poured into doing that. Well, unfortunately, even the best of ideas and missions, sometimes there's reasons to walk away. And I can't say too much, guys, other than some things were happening in the management of the entity and organization that I felt very uncomfortable with and needed to distance from pretty quickly. And it's unfortunate when those things happen, especially when they happen around what is an incredible cause. But we're not stopping on our mission here to pick up the six. We're not stopping on our mission here to leave the 99. And I know you're with me. And I know this audience will understand, Brian, if something was going on that you felt uncomfortable with, that you felt was not happening properly, specifically not advancing the mission, and you needed to walk away, we trust you. And I hope that's the case. I know that it is. And I've got some other folks that were close to us that felt similarly. And the beauty is we'll be united, and we'll continue, maybe through our own separate shows, right? Through friends we've met over this last year, continue to advance that mission. But we're going to do it not under that banner, not under that auspices anymore. We're going to continue to do our thing here at Pick Up the Six. And you guys have been with me for years now, since we started this thing up. You know, we looked at things in 2021 and we said, we want to introduce the world to men and women among us who are going above and beyond through service, purpose, and impact. Let's get to doing that. And I've been so grateful. I've been so grateful and blessed that you've been along that journey with us, and you came along this journey with me through this NGBN effort. And unfortunately, it's not going to work. There were some issues that were just bigger than all of us that could not be remedied, and we had to take a step away, and we had to do it pretty rapidly. And that probably tells you what you need to know about what happened there, and that's okay. Right. And hopefully things can move forward and all that. But I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your continued confidence, and for this idea that we're going to continue to lock shields through our show and through the friends that we've met along the way. Far too many to mention, but great people we've met along the way that we'll continue to be in this space with. And I get the sense you'll continue to see us together doing things as well, which is what it's all about, right? And all my F3 buddies will know, right? When we talk about getting in that circle of trust, right? When we talk about locking shields together, that's what the content creators and the people, the amazing humans I've met along the way, that's what we'll continue to do here, right, we'll continue to stand up for each other and be united in that. So, but I needed to tell you that off the top of the show, because you're going to see things a little differently, right? You won't see that. You won't hear that anymore from us here, but you will see that we're always picking up the 6. We got some great friends who have been with us since, day one with this company right here that make what we do here at Pick Up the 6 possible. A huge shout out to Alex Thrasher, F3 Malco, and the guys at Mud Gear. We've got a promo code PUT6. You go to mudgear.com. The best socks in the business, right? For rucking, running, working out. I love their socks. Great shorts, great shirts, great quality gear, and it's meant to be outdoors. It's for the outdoor hybrid athlete, right? Log some time in the gym, log some time under the ruck, log some time with a sandbag, log some time on your feet, right? Mud Gear's got you covered. Go to mudgear.com. Promo code PUT6, save 15% off today. A huge thanks to our friends at Momentous, livemomentous.com. The code there, Brian J. And they've got all the supplement health and wellness material that you might need, right? All of those products, from creatine to hormones to whey protein, D3, everything you might need to get yourself performing at your best. livemomentous.com, code Brian J. And their prices are great. Go check it out and see what they got. Good, clean stuff. Love what they're doing. Huge thanks to them, as always, for being a part of this show. And my man, Joe Baker, joebakerfitness.com. Joey B's got me on the weightlifting strength program. And so just a huge thanks to Joe Baker. Go to joebakerfitness.com. Check him out. He can get you on a tailored plan, and he brings you into community, which is really a cool way in which he does what he does there. All right, let's bring in my guest. He's been waiting in the wings patiently, but I'm not going to keep an Army man waiting too much longer. Greg Archbold, good to see you, Greg. How are you, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I told you guys, I said, listen, we're about to ratchet it up. I said, I don't know if the internet can handle this amount of positivity today. My brother, it is good to see you, man. How are you?
And I am doing fabulous, man. And I'm so glad we finally got to connect.
Yeah.
And again, we'll give Mike Sully and Team RWB a quick shout out.
Yep.
For linking us up.
Yep.
And I'll start off with one of my favorite things is the people in your circle will determine who you are.
That's right.
So if you hang out with 6 broke people, you will become number 7. So I was really glad that, Sully was able to connect us, because he said, hey, I got to introduce you to this guy. So
love it.
Here we are, man.
Man, outstanding. We had a great conversation, man. And about his background and his service. That guy is so humble. I mean, I read a lot about him, right? That guy has done some amazing things on behalf of our nation. And he's just such a humble guy. Oh, I did some things and served. And I'm like, bro, you were in it, man. Like, you were in it. So what a guy. Yeah, what a guy. And I love their mission, man. What RWB is doing is great. So.
Oh, yeah. He's Mike. It's kind of funny because Mike was my brigade commander.
Yeah.
And I was retiring, obviously, and I was talking and I was introducing to someone, and then I just it was an old mentor of mine, a guy named Stan. And I was introducing him to Stan, and I was like, how do I introduce Mike now that I'm not in his unit? I said, well, Mike's my new friend is how I did it.
Right. My friend, Mike.
So that's kind of like our little inside joke. He's like, yeah, I'm Greg's new friend. So
that works.
Yeah.
That works. Well, listen, guys, you can already get a sense, man, this guy's got a great attitude, great perspective on life. I see some nicely patriotic adorned materials behind you that would show that you've got quite a history of service. And you talked about that retirement, right? Moving out of the Army and into civilian life. But man, you've got a heck of a career that involves a lot of law enforcement, right? Security side of the Army. But take me back, man. What got you into the Army, right? What was Greg's motivation to do that? What time are we talking about here, right? Give me the history story.
Something I would just say that I wasn't necessarily a stellar citizen many moons ago. And I was in need of some serious help. And as part of that process of me figuring out why I was doing some of the stupidity I was doing, I was able to find a job really as a security guard in a mall where I went to high school in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And I was working and,
man, shout out Harrisburg. My parents live in Hanover.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go Rams.
Yeah.
Was my high school. So I ended up working for a company called Harristown Development, who ran the security for like this mall downtown Strawberry Square.
Okay.
And I had a boss. His name was George Bensel, good man. And he was a retired military police officer, which I didn't know. And then over a period of time, one day he just pulls me aside. And he says, "Hey, man, you could be doing so much more with your life. What are you doing?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, I'm going to work." And he says, "No, you need to be doing more." So we talked about the military. And I said, "Well, George, you hired me and I got some things in my record." He was like, "I'm not sure if the Army would take me." And he said, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." So fast forward, there was a person I was working, a person who got robbed, and this person who got robbed worked for the government. And I happened to catch the guy who did it. And they said that they would make a call on my behalf. And
wow,
20 years later. So that's pretty much how I got in.
What do you mean caught the guy?
He was running and I just ran faster.
Like physically caught him.
Yeah.
Not like, man, I was in the back room and I knew this and I was
right.
Pepe Sylvia and all the details. Like,
I know the Army teaches us to be humble. So let me tell you the rest of the story.
No, tell me the real. Yeah, let's.
All right. So
because I'm like, wait a minute, caught the guy. Like, did you tackle him?
I get a call.
Yep.
And they said from the custodians that were in the mall that says, "Hey, this guy just got assaulted and the guy's running." I just happened to be near the door and the guy kind of makes eye contact with me and then he freaking beats feet outside. I'm obviously not thinking, adrenaline's pumping. So I proceed to chase the dude down the street and he's kind of cutting through. And I'm just thinking, I don't have to outrun him. I've just got to keep him in sight until he gets tired before I do.
Yeah.
So I'm running and running. But what I did not notice was a car that was going parallel next to me. And so we're running down a one-way street and picture like a downtown setting. So there are cars on both sides of the road and I'm moving. And then I see this car coming down the street backwards. Well, what I didn't realize was that there was some U.S. Marshals who saw me chasing this guy and they kind of cut the guy off and basically allowed me to cuff him. And so that was pretty much it. And I'll keep the guy's name who we helped out of it, but he was a U.S. Senator at that time, and he made some phone calls on my behalf and said thank you. So what
a wild chain of events, right? Like,
yeah.
But then to think about like growing up in Harrisburg, knowing the things you had done, could you have ever envisioned yourself sort of wearing the nation's uniform and especially the things you were doing?
Not in a million years. And I think when I talk to, because I have this thing, I know we talk about like mental health and looking out for people a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm one of those people who will randomly, if you're unlucky enough that I have your phone number, one Friday, you might just get a call from me and I'm just calling to say hello, to check in and make sure you're good. And when I call people from like my high school days, they just go, "Bro, they're just amazed that, I want to say I'm not necessarily in a prison cell or dead." So,
well, I mean, listen, man, it's a valuable lesson on the way in which life can change on a dime. And even if you're down on your luck, or even if you've done things that you're not proud of in your past, they're part of your story, right? They propel you to where you are, but they don't have to define the way in which the rest of it has to play out. You didn't have to be a statistic or just another number.
Oh yeah. And one of the things that I love to tell people is that mentorship is key to anyone's success, because had George not had that conversation with me and pushed me forward, I have to thank people. Say, how many mentors do you have? And I say, I have quite a few people who I can reach out to for help, regardless of the situation. And I ask people this: if you don't have a mentor, you have to ask yourself one question: are you mentorship worthy?
That's right.
Are you mentorship worthy? Because if you want something, you need to put yourself in a position to be around the people that are doing what it is that you want to do. If I want to start a podcast, I know some people. if I want to get into business, if I
Yeah.
want to do certain things. I had my friend Stan, who I was lucky enough to meet. He was able to help me with my public speaking career and introduce me to give a shout out to Leading Authorities. They're a huge speaking bureau based in DC. I think they got an office in London and Chicago. I was able to become one of their clients based on mentorship. So I advise people to surround themselves with people who are doing the things that you want to do, because
100%.
most people will ask questions of the person to their left and to the person to their right. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of duds, guess what? You're going to look to the left and the right and get answers from a bunch of duds.
Yeah,
So
well said.
surround yourself with people, because you have two types of people in your life: people who are helping you to a goal, and people who are distracting you from it. Come on.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Either helping you get to it or they're distracting you from it. So,
well, Greg, and it's similar to the belief that you're either accelerating or decelerating. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. We shouldn't be okay with just sort of spinning our wheels, staying in one position. You're either accelerating, decelerating, same thing, right? You're either around people that are going to propel you to that, or if you're not careful, you're right. People will drain. They would, right? It stood the test of time, right? They'll take. I want to talk more specifically about running prison ops in Germany, being in Fort Leavenworth. Let me take a quick break, introduce you guys once again to our great friends at F3. We'll be right back. More with Greg Archbold. I'm Brian Jodice. This is Pick Up the Six.
Are you searching for connection? Do you struggle with loneliness? There is hope. We are F3, Fitness, Fellowship, Faith. Our mission is to plant, grow, and serve small workout groups for men for the invigoration of male community leadership. We have 5 core principles.
Free of charge, open to all men, held outdoors, rain or shine, peer led, and it ends in a circle of trust.
Go to f3nation.com.
Welcome back. Brian Jodice here. You're watching Pick Up the Six. I got Greg Archbold joining me, having a great conversation. Shout out to the guys at F3 for changing my life, saving many elements of my life, and coming alongside me in this journey that we call life. My brother, good to have you back again. And man, before that, we were just talking about, accelerating or decelerating, being around positivity, the way it's able to sort of propel your life going forward. I mean, look, man, you end up running prison ops in the Army in Germany. You spent some time at Fort Leavenworth. I mean, there it is right there.
Yeah, right there.
You hear Fort Leavenworth, people know that name. They know that place. Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, man, let's get in the weeds a little bit about that time in the Army, what you were doing and man, what you learned from being around that kind of style of environment where, boy, it's got to be pretty intense kind of work.
Yeah. So just, Fort Leavenworth really is the center of Army corrections. And they have you actually have 2 prisons at Fort Leavenworth. You have the DB, which is the one that most people know, and you have the Regional Correctional Facility, the RCF, right? So you have a facility on the East Coast, which is run by the Navy, Central Midwest, and then you have one on the West Coast, Miramar. But also within Army Corrections, I was the company commander of the facility in Germany. We all fall under Army Corrections, and there's also a facility in Korea, believe it or not. And that process of learning, because we are asking young soldiers to go into areas with a lot of people whose, you're not going to physically outdo these guys. You're just not. It comes down to something that old boss told me about verbal judo, being able to give. Yes, I'm not here to judge them. I'm not here to say they are a good or a bad person. Most of them, I would say 95 to 98% of them, are good people who made a bad decision.
That's right. That's right.
And now at some point they're going to get out, and I can either, not only for their self-benefit, but I'm going to teach them by my actions that I'm going to give you respect and you're going to give me the same. And how people say, well, how do you give a person who's done some bad things respect? It can be something as simple as "Good morning, sir. How are you?"
Right.
You know? And I could always tell if it was working, because when I came in the facility in Germany, there was an area where if somebody got in trouble, they would be seated. And when they would see me come in, this is exactly what would happen. They go like this. And then I would be like, "Good morning, sir." Well, blah, 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 blah. Remember, I have this thing about excuses, and I used to tell them this, and I'll share it with the audience. Excuses only sound good to the person that's making them.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
So I don't want to hear your excuses. Now I have to do something. So you're going to have to deal with the pieces of your consequence. Doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't mean tomorrow morning you're not going to get the same good morning from me. Right. But that was intense, because a lot of the stories behind it, and that's why mentorship is so important to me, because a lot of these people, especially when I was in Germany, a majority of them were young people. And, when you sit down and talk to them, just because they're in the military, they weren't necessarily, they didn't have, the phrase we always get, home training. Training. Somewhere they just felt like they were on this journey by themselves. So we try to do the best we can. And myself, and I got to give a shout out to my Sergeant Major, guy named Brian Hampton, who really, really, really helped me stay focused and use verbal skills to get through to these guys, because a respectful population is a nonviolent population.
Yeah.
I go in there and I treat these guys like, yeah, you're prisoners and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have a hard time. Right. But I treat them, we use the words dignity and respect, but there's a little bit more there's some action that has to be done with that, so that's really what I try to do with them, is to try to de-escalate things and just start with respect.
Yep. That's right.
I received it and I gave it, and we didn't really have too many problems.
Are you a Netflix guy? You guys
I am.
Have you watched any episodes of the show Unlocked? I think it's relatively new. Have you watched some of this?
I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
I was doing some elliptical work.
Elliptical, man. Yeah. Little calorie.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
So the premise of the show, guys, if you've not seen it, it's on Netflix right now. I think it's maybe 8 episodes. Is this sheriff in a pretty highly profiled
in Arkansas, right?
In Arkansas, yeah, he's in Little Rock, and I think it's a pretty big prison, and guys in there have done really bad things. So this is not a lot of blue collar, is what it seems like. It seems like it's some hard stuff, right? He has this idea, and it's this one unit. This is the H block, I think, is what it is, and it's one of the toughest units. And they've got all races in there and guys that have done varying things. But he has this idea of, we want to see if the guys can handle it. We're going to take the deputies out, and we're going to unlock the doors, and we're going to let these guys kind of live somewhat freely, right? Throughout the facility that they have there available. They can't go all over the prison, right? But in their unit, they can live throughout it. And I mean, a lot of the stuff happens that you think would. Guys may cooch, guys do other things. There are some fights, but then they also do kind of work through the dynamics. New leaders emerge, right? It's a heck of a show. I wonder how much of it is scripted to a sense, but you get to see, and the reminder of it, what I'm getting to is you get the reminder of, these guys are human. Some of these guys have made terrible mistakes. A lot of them have atoned or are atoning for it. And you get to see those dynamics. And then I'm reminded of, you guys have been on the journey with me now twice, gone into that Monroe Correctional Facility just north of Seattle, Washington, through that Defy Ventures program, where we've mentored, to your point, we've mentored those men in prison through their business plans, through if and when they're ever released, what they can do to get themselves back into the workforce. And you get that humanized element. Some of those guys in there have killed people. And I've sat with them and talked to them and realized, one, many of them have ultimately asked who they have to ask for forgiveness, the people they've wronged and their creator. I can't stand in the way of what happens to them after that. It's not my judgment to be had, right?
Right.
But you just get to talk to these guys as humans, and you get to learn who they are, and you get to hear about the things they do, and they're talented, and they're smart, and they're funny, and they have tragic backstories that involve maybe not having both parents or growing up in violence and all those things. And it's a long way of saying that, to your point, if we can remember that people are human and then bring that just level of respect, we can automatically maybe start to help them get better.
Oh, I mean, I think, again, this is a huge debate on how we deal with this problem.
Yeah.
Is prison designed for?
Hey, shout out to our man Aaron Griffin for watching live, saying he's digging the convo. He's if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook and you want to comment, by all means, we can talk about it. And Greg can take a question. So if you have a question for Greg, we got a few folks watching online live. Obviously, we'll replay this across the pod sphere as well. But Aaron digging the convo. I am too, man. Great point.
Yeah, but I think you have to look at it. Is it about punishment or is it about preservation for the future?
Yeah.
So there can, for most people, they believe somewhere in the middle that it has to be a little bit about punishment, but we also have to prepare these people for the future. Otherwise, they're going to go right back, and recidivism is just going to be high. So I think if we can get them to, number one, one of my big points is have a strong why. If you have a why, you want to do something. I don't care if it's your why to get out of prison, or if your why to go back to school, your why to do fitness, your why to be a Christian. Whatever your why is, that thing has to be strong.
Bro, check this out. You're going to love this one. I'm going to drop one on you. All right.
Okay.
I learned this quote from my friend Chad Cooper, who was a mentor and a coach for me for years. He studied at the knee of Tony Robbins. So that's just sort of the lineage of their sort of thought process of positivity. It is not your strength that holds you to your purpose. It is the strength of the purpose itself.
Ooh, come on, baby.
Come on, bro. So, right. But does that not, I mean, it is one of my favorite quotes, and I constantly come back to it because I'm strong. I can do this. I can do it, right? Okay. You might be the strongest guy or guy out there, but if that purpose is not driven and strong, like, you got to be able to live in it. So I knew you'd like that one.
I love that one. Yeah. I love that one. That's a good one. And I think when we talk about going from where we are to where we want to be,
sure,
we've got to have a couple things in the middle there. One, consistency.
Yeah.
Because didn't get, and I use weight loss not to pick on anyone. I'm a big boy myself, but you didn't get fat overnight.
Team thick thighs.
Yeah.
I got you.
You didn't get fat overnight.
Sure.
You didn't get broke overnight.
Sure.
And I hate to say it, you didn't get dumb overnight.
That's
so you're not going to go from having no certifications, college degree, to having a PhD overnight. It's going to take time.
Well, and then you also have to have the perspective and the mindset, and I know you do, and it's taking joy in the journey. You can't snap your fingers and get there. So if you're training for a race, or if you're working on a dissertation, or all of that, right? That end thing is going to happen, and then it'll be over, right? In the grand scheme of things, if you train for a marathon, that marathon's going to take you probably around 4 hours. Elite runners faster, right? But you will have put in 12, 16, 20 weeks of training to get there. Enjoy that process. And it might suck and it might be hard sometimes. I get it. But like, that's the beauty of all of it, is just having joy in the journey.
That is so funny you say that. So like, as I start to do a little bit more, public speaking, I was asked the question, how many hours did I practice for I think my TED talk is like 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Right.
I probably put 100 hours of practice into those 7 minutes. It's kind of like my man Usain Bolt said, I trained for years
to run for 10 seconds.
10 seconds. And people get mad when they don't see results in a day.
Right.
And when I heard that kind of hit me, because I've always been kind of an outgoing person. But one of the things that I realize is that no matter how good you are with speaking, you can always get better at your craft.
That's
and
right.
there were things that I learned going through that process of, developing the TED Talk that taught me that I was not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah.
Which is really humbling when you're talking with people who are very charismatic. So, the hours of practice for that time to shine but the old military saying, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
That's right.
And
That's right.
If you stay ready, because if you call me tomorrow and say, hey, I need you to come to this place, you have an opportunity to give a speech to a group of people, I can't tell you I'm not ready, because I might miss that opportunity. So there has to be if someone calls you tomorrow and says, hey, we're going to take your show national on some stuff, you can't be like, oh, well, I'm going to need a couple months to prepare. No.
That's right.
They'll go to somebody else.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I
Well
try
said.
to live on the philosophy of, staying ready for opportunities, because you never know when they're going to come. And then when you get it, you got to kill it.
Ready to go. You got the chance to go. He's Greg Archbold. Yeah, that's an outstanding, man. He's Greg Archbold. I'm Brian Jodice. You're watching Pick Up the Six. More from our conversation, because we're going to get into these Archboldisms, right? And Greg has now hung up the military uniform. T-claps to him for amazing years of service. He's doing incredible work at asset protection for Walmart distribution, which is outstanding. So we're going to hear about, though, this positivity and these Archboldisms. Quick pause to once again thank those sponsors. Shout out to our friends at Mud Gear. Great clothes for the outdoor athlete. They get you all geared up. Go to mudgear.com, code PUT6 and save 15%. And my friends at livemomentous.com. Momentous has all that you need to be performing at your best. Muscle recovery, cognitive, all that stuff, right? We've learned so much about how we can perform better and live longer. They've got great supplements, great vitamins. livemomentous.com, code Brian J to be able to save a little bit of cash there as well. Greg jumps back in the show with me. Greg, with the time that we have left, I'm going to throw 3 of these Archboldisms at you, and I want you to tell me what they mean. All right? Because I did a little homework, man. I watched them. I got fired up. Guys, you need to get on this guy's social media feed.
I love it.
He's going to get you fired up. Greatness is never on sale.
Oh, so if you want to, and at the end of every video, I always say, stay driven and don't ever be average, right? Greatness is never on sale, because there is no magical, Harry Potter wand. You are going to be a superstar. It takes hard work. And also the other part with greatness is never on sale, because no one's going to hand you a success plate and say, here you go.
That's right.
The other thing about success is it is an ongoing battle. You can't you're not going to just reach this plateau and be like, oh, I have to do no more work. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Even in your pursuit to continually get yourself right, focus on your concentrica, serve your Lord, be a part of your community, right? You don't just get right and then you just stop working on yourself. It's constant pursuit.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that goes with greatness is not on sale is that the higher you go, the less the competition. See, in our area, let's just say like out where you live in, there are probably 5 neurosurgeons. 5. Why? Because being a neurosurgeon is hard work. Okay. So the higher up you go, down here, everyone's battling, right? But there are people who don't want to. There are people that don't want to do this, right? So I'm gonna climb up here. So the higher up I go, the less the competition. I realize that those people who are willing to work hard to rise up, sometimes they look around and say, you know what? There's not as much competition. The competition with you. You still have to work hard. You still have to try and pursue those goals.
UVU, right? Man,
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Here's another one I saw. I'm saving my third one's my favorite one because I'm waiting to, I'm like, what's he mean by this? This one, setback or comeback.
Oh man. So I started off, and quick story. To get into the Army Officer Candidate Program, you have to get a score on a test called the ASVAB, and you have to get a certain score. When I was also, similar story with Ranger School, I had to go back. I took the test, didn't do well. So I was either going to let that be my setback or my comeback. So as I pushed through this, I was able to make it. I went to Ranger School, right? And it's a military school leadership.
We've talked about it somewhat extensively on this program with other guests before.
I'm gonna say this: there are two types of people, right? There are those with Ranger tabs, and there are those with excuses, right? How many people say, "Oh, well, I failed Ranger school. I was gonna go back, but remember what I said earlier, bro, about excuses, right? They only sound good.
Only sound good to the person saying it. That's right.
So I came back and I went back, and I'm so glad that I did. Not because I got to wear a piece of cloth on my uniform, but because it showed me that nothing worthwhile is ever going to be easy. And that was the one lesson. Yep, I learned some tactical stuff. I learned some leadership stuff, but I learned something in here that said that if I don't quit, there's nothing that I can't accomplish.
In the words of Ladies Love Cool James, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Right? I mean, like, come on, man. Just stay going.
I love it.
Stay going. All right, here's my third one for you.
Okay.
I'm rapid fire throwing his own sayings at him. This is what happened here on Pick Up the Six. Take out the trash.
Oh, man.
I love your reaction.
Look,
and I'm waiting for another one of these.
Y'all go get me fired up.
Let's go. Take out the trash. All right, it's Friday where I live. I rolled the cans down last night. I mean, it's Friday.
Look, okay. We in the Army, we used to have this thing called cut sling load, right? And it's a term where helicopters take stuff, and to save the aircraft, sometimes they have to cut whatever it is that they're taking, right? I say you have to take the trash out. There are people in your lives that are not giving you any purpose. And here's how I relate it to people. And everybody who is listening within the sound of my voice, I want you to do this. And if so, at the end, I'm going to give you my email, and I want you to answer this question. Look in your text messages, look in your emails, and show me the last time someone sent you something to help you become a better person, right? Most of you can't do it. But here's the most important question. If you don't have somebody who is sending you information to help you become a better person, why are they in your life? Come on. Hear what I said. Why are they in your life? Take out the trash. Get rid of those people. I'm telling you, you either have a circle or you have a cage. You have to decide.
What? Hit that again.
If you either have a circle, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm in the center of this circle, right? If the circle is going this way, like going to church, going to get education, going to do positive things, that's my circle. That's a good thing.
That's right.
But when
thing's mobile, it moves, it's fluid.
If I'm in the center of that circle and I want to go to church, but my boys are saying, hey, let's go over here and do some stupid stuff, then I can't get out the circle. I can't get out the circle. I either have to break through and let the circle go. My wife and I, we have decided to break the circle. So we are surrounding ourselves with people who are going and traveling in the same direction. So we have to take out the trash. And you know what? It can be difficult. Why? Because some of these people you have known for years. Yep. Some of these people, I hate to say it, may even have your last name. But guess what? Your salvation, your life is worth more than being with those people. So remember, do not let your circle become a cage. Take out the trash.
Golly. Bro, you are getting them fired up, but you're also just getting started with them. So I need our audience to know where they can find you, man, where they can follow what you're doing, where they can just see this. Y'all just need this. You just need some more of this in your life. Tell us where they can find you.
All right. So you can find me on Instagram at G Archbold. That's Gregory Archbold, Archbold on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn for those professionals. My email address is gdarchbold@gmail.com. If you just want to chat, if you need a speaker for an event, you need anything, please let me know. And I do the one question I want to throw out to give props to my parents is where I got the idea for Archboldisms, because of all the smart things that my mom and dad have said to me. So I thank them for everything that has happened to me in my life.
No doubt, man. Outstanding. Guys, other podcasts, other shows, right? All my friends here that are going to watch this, man, get this guy on too, right? I mean, this is a
Hey, I am flexible and easy to work with, baby.
I love it, man. This has been an absolute blast, bro. I love it. We got to hang out too. We're not far apart. I'm only an hour.
No. We have a mutual friend up there in Apex. So
yes, David Bohm, right? You know David Bohm?
And Major Gilbert.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The mayor. Yeah. That's right. The mayor. Old Red Velvet is what we called him in the F3 world. Red Velvet. He is the slickest dressing dude. Well, he always looks good.
I'll tell you.
That's my mayor, man. That's the mayor of my town.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy.
He is. He's always got some shoes on. That's for sure.
The gold boots, baby.
Bro, every time. So good.
Right.
Greg Archbold, powerhouse of positivity.
Hey, can I say one more thing before we close out?
Come on, man. Do what you got to do.
Listen, you know, one of the things we talk about is kind of a somber subject is suicide.
That's right.
Especially with men, because we don't like to necessarily talk about our feelings. And I'm not a psychiatrist or shrink or anything. And I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives. But I will tell you this, my brothers, you do not ever have to suffer in silence. So if you need somebody, you reach out, hit me up. I have a network of people. You don't necessarily have to be here. I have sent people to locations to help people go through some things. But you are never, ever, ever that alone where that should be an option. So if you need something, please reach out. I know people will get you the resources that you need.
Listen, man.
Thanks, brother.
No, bro. And that's you're spot on. And no matter what you've done, man, we can find a path forward. And maybe you even have to face consequences for the things you've done. That's fine. We can find a path forward. There's one thing you do, guys, that we can't help you from. We can't come back from. Right. No matter what is happening, no matter what storm is above. Man, listen to this. Greg, you've never even met this guy before. He's throwing his email out there at you guys. Tell him, reach out to me. Let me help you. That's what we do here, man. Right. Yeah. And even if there's 100 sheep and one goes astray, well, you know, mathematically, we're probably better just to let that one go. I still got 99 sheep. Well, the shepherd has told us from his words, we will leave the 99. We will go save the one. Y'all doing? That's what we're doing here.
All right.
Right. Let's go, bro.
Let's get after it, baby.
Let's get after it. Have a great Friday. Hang tight, Greg. I want to talk to you for a second when we hang up, but I'll do the official thing, wrap the show up here. We'll be right back. Okay. Oh my gosh. What an amazing conversation. I mean, outstanding. I'm fired up. This day can't stop me now. Cannot stop me now. Greg Archbold, powerhouse of positivity. Go check him out. What an absolute blast. Great journey with you guys. Another outstanding episode of Pick Up the Six. And I'm grateful that you join us, and we will see you next time. Pick Up the Six is sponsored by Mud Gear. Mud Gear serves the unleashed with gear for the modern hybrid athlete that's made tougher. They've created strong, functional performance gear like their performance shirts, shorts, and socks. I wear Mud Gear on the regular. Whether it's for a road race, an obstacle adventure, or a ruck, Mud Gear can help you gear up for extreme performance. Go to mudgear.com, use the code PUT6, and save 15% off today.
Welcome to F3, Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith, where men come together for something more than just a workout. Our core principles define us: free of charge, open to all men, held outdoors, peer-led, and end in a circle of trust. Whether you want to run, lift heavy things, or focus on bodyweight exercises, F3 has over 4,000 workouts available worldwide. Join us, experience the camaraderie, the challenge, and the transformation of F3, where men can get right so that they can lead right.